Arena 4D Programmable Shader. So just to aid this demonstration, I've drawn some measurements here using the measurement option just to show you the rough size of this point cloud. This isn't 100% accurate, but it's around 40 meters, 18 by 16. Now I've labeled them as X, Y and Z because that's the way this data is. Yours may be different, but this is where the programmable shader allows for those changes. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on the shader, and as you can see, here's the options. Now it's currently turned off, so to perform any of these options you just turn the shader on. This stays blue, and I'll just go through some of the settings here. So this is the direction, this is X, Y and Z. Currently you can see there's a 1 in Z, which means we're fully working in the Z up direction here. If there was a value on one of these, it could be going diagonally. This means straight up. Then we have select plane, which these values will change, and I'll demonstrate how you select the plane by selecting it on the point cloud. You have an option here to track, and then we have the range. That's size in meters that we wish to perform a range. I've set this to 18, roughly the height of this point cloud. We have an offset that will move the starting position of this. Currently it's set to the bottom, so it's going all the way up. And then we have whether you're going to clamp, stop or repeat rounds. They will become much more obvious in a minute. Then we have custom colors, and in this example red on this axis is bottom, so red is one side, through to green in the middle, and blue is the opposite end. So showing here, red is ground, blue is the top. So if I just change the range here, this is using repeat of stop, you can clearly see at 14 meters the top of the shader. So this may be very useful if you were working on, in this example, a building and you wanted to know what was below 8 meters or what wasn't above 8 meters. So clearly here 8 meters, quick scan around the building, we can see where 8 meters is. Very quick aid for seeing heights, depths, X or Y's. Very, very quick. Just put that back. If we put this to repeat, see at 4 meters, it's showing us 4 meter chunks. So if you're building, you need certain floors, they're all done in 10 meter sections. This would be useful again, showing the different heights. And clamp again, if I change the offset, you'll see the middle section stays true to the range size, and either end just continue on. So in order to produce very quick shaders, what we need to do is, I'll show you a couple of ways of doing it, and it can change depending on your data. Now I know if I change the X to a 1 and the Y to a 0, so I'm focusing purely on the X axis, and if I put this to stop, you can see here we have our 18 meter section, red through to blue. Now we know that the building's bigger than that, it's around 40, so if I just, for this quick example, type in 40, brilliant. We have 40 because you can see the red gets to green, but we've started in the wrong place. So what you can do is use the offset to put this in the correct position. So if I just quickly, roughly do that, I've got the red going to the blue over a span of 40 meters. But if you don't wish to play with the offset, we do have a very quick way of doing this, which is using the select plane option. So what I can do, clearly we can see the starting point is incorrect. The plane is here. I wish to put it on the edge here. So what I'm going to do, select plane is blue, my crosshair is active. I'm going to click here. Snapped point was turned on, so it snapped to this point. It's very useful to have that set first. And as you can see, we now have 40 meter range going from red, this edge here, to 40 meters to this side here. Again, the options for doing repeat and the sizes all apply as shown in the Z-axis I just showed before. If your point cloud data isn't as well as aligned to this, so squared up, and you don't wish to perform rotations and stuff on the point cloud data for other reasons, then what you can do is, say, if I want to do vertical here, I can position myself on the side of the data. So I'm positioned down the side. I'm just going to click direction. And if you look, we're looking perfectly down there. Now if I do that slightly off, squared up to this end of the building, you can see now we have a diagonal. I'll just make that more obvious. You can see we're going diagonally down the data. So a very useful tip is to use these to try and get yourself squared up. These options here. Click here and we're done. Now I could go to the bottom of the data, click direction. Now if I put that back down to 18 that you've seen before, you can see we're looking straight up. We can do straight down, etc, etc. So if your data isn't lined up correctly, position it correctly in the view, click direction, and it will perfectly go from one end to the other through how you have the view set. So if I do it from here, okay, this data being squared up, it's very simple because I can just type a 1 in the box that I wish to go through those axes. The track option here, let me just if I just position myself, just want to quickly show you going up again. You can see let's put a 1 in there because we were underneath. I'm going to select the plane at the bottom, just roughly. If I move the mouse over the data, we can move it like this. Very useful for moving and seeing the values you have here change. If the data is squared up correctly, you can see if there's any errors, etc. Just turn trace off. Just going to select the bottom here again. You can change the colour in here, so it's like a contrast option, very translucent through to very bold. Defaults in the middle, around 50%, and there we have the programmable shader.